Okay, excited to open up at home this week against San Francisco. I know our players are chomping at the bit to play in front of the home crowd, and it's a crowd that we're really going to need to use in this game because, again, they've got a lot of communication tools that they use at the line of scrimmage, and so we're expecting a great turnout. We're expecting our crowd to be really loud and create the advantages that we had to go against last week in Seattle. We'd like to see that at home this week. So really excited to see what the turnout's like, and I know that they're going to be there to help the team do some great things.
You went 0-3 in the red zone in week 1. Are you going to stress that this week during practice?
Well, we know what the errors were. We missed a field goal and we had a turnover, and they stopped us on 4th and 1. So we feel like those were self-inflicted plays, to be exact, and we had the holding call down there that set us back. But other than that, there's some games where you go in there and you got 10 real red zone plays and you throw incomplete on 7 of them and can't move the ball. And that wasn't really the case. It was certainly we were 0-3 in the red zone, but it was all things that we felt like we could have done a better job controlling.
How much, when you look at Kyle's offense, do you feel like you're kind of looking at yourself a little bit? Is that helpful?
Well, it's all the same background to an extent. When he was the offense coordinator at the Houston Texans, I used to watch every Texans game imaginable. I was a GA with Clint Kubiak, and his dad was coaching at the time. So, every Sunday, all we did was watch the Texans and then watch the tape. And so I feel like that's when I started to further invest in kind of the West Coast system of things and the way that Kubiak and Shanahan did them. And then I've always followed Kyle as he went to Washington and worked with Sean McVay for several years, and then as he moved around. So there's certainly a lot of elements that are very similar, and then there's a lot of differences between the two styles and how they've kind of branched off.
How fun is that to watch the new wrinkles that all you guys that are in that same base system put in as a week like last weekend where everyone's kind of unveiling a lot of that stuff? Is that fun to go watch the other tape, or do you have any time for that?
Well, yeah, everybody watches everybody. It's there's certainly teams that you always make sure you check the box to see what they're doing every week. And Kyle's, always done a great job. He's got a really good staff. They've been really creative. I've worked with a couple guys on that staff, and I know a couple guys on the staff. And those are guys that you hold in high regard.
You said they've branched off a little bit. Do you think you've branched, or do you think your style has branched yet, or do you think it's still evolving?
That's probably how you would be better to put it, is it's always kind of been a 12 and 21 system, and they've held true to that, and they certainly have tons of wrinkles they do off of it. And we've over the last 2 years in LA became a little bit more 11 personnel. We still feel like we got a lot of good personnel groupings that we can do a good job of and attack people a certain way. And but there are still a lot of similarities in the systems.
AJ Green doesn't have his boot on anymore. Where is he at in his recovery process in your eyes?
He's making the progress we expected him to make. So I'm still not going to put a timetable on it, but still encouraged by the progress that he's made every single day.
I think Tyler Eifert played almost 50% of the snaps offensively. Was that dictated by the way the game went? Is that a good workload? Do you have a number in mind that's a good number for him?
I think 50% is maybe a little much, but we're comfortable doing that. I think he came out in great shape. He's one of those veterans you kind of manage over the course of the week. Again, the way that they decided to play the defense, if you're going to run the ball, you're going to have to stay in some 12 personnel groupings, and so that's the way the game went. It could be that way this week. It could be a totally different direction, but certainly feel like we have a really strong tight end room that we can lean on in games like that.
How did you feel like he looked?
Good. I haven't thought one day since I've been around him that he's looked like he's got any effects from last year's injury. He's looked healthy. He can run fast, and he's really dialed in.
Was that a game plan thing on the same aspect with Sample? Or did you want to get him in more, or was that kind of you just wanted to take it easy with him in that first week?
Well, it's I don't know. He doesn't need easing in. He's ready to go, and we got full confidence in him. And it's really just the way that game went. We had a game plan that could have gone one direction, and we decided to take it another direction as the game went. Had to make those adjustments, and feel comfortable the way it all went. But we feel like we can rely on any of those tight ends.
How do you plan on managing Joe's practice workload this week?
Well, we'll just see day by day how he feels, and the most important thing is that he's healthy on Sunday, and so we're going to do our best to get him to that point.
You feel like he's going to play on Sunday?
Day to day right now. I don't want to make any predictions.
How impressed were you with the defense and how they played in their first game this season?
Loved their energy. thought Coach Anarumo and his staff did an outstanding job preparing those guys. The players really bought in, and they played with the energy that we need to have a great defense. And, of course, there's room for improvement, just like there is on special teams and offense. But I thought if we get a similar performance to that each week, then we're going to be in a position to win some games.
I think in the first 7 minutes, you used everybody on offense, Samaje and I think Seethan. So you used a bunch of different guys. How much is it you just want to use as much personnel as possible, and how much do you think it keeps guys engaged that they know they're going to get a shot to play?
Both. That's a great point. Both. You like guys to have a role. We do feel like at all those positions you just mentioned that anybody could really be in on any route, and I'm not going to be upset about it. We can call, certainly there's game plan things where you want a certain guy at this one spot, but really over the course of that game, any receiver could have been at any spot. We move them around so much. They all play all the positions. They know what to do. They can all separate and get open. And so that's a really good spot to be in. At tight end, at running back, at receiver, we feel like we've got a good quarterback room. Alignment have been interchangeable. We're really at the point where everyone's got confidence in playing a lot of different roles, and that certainly helps you over the course of a season.
Is there an ideal number of snaps you'd like your offense to run, or do you feel like that team functions best when the offense runs a certain amount of snaps?
No, there's not a target number in time. Oftentimes, you want to make sure the receivers are running 70 plays ideally, so you like to find ways to build in breaks for them when you can. Those are the guys you need them strong in the fourth quarter, and so you can't just have them running go routes all the time, But I feel like, we're going to play as many snaps as it takes to win the game. You never know. If our defense creates a lot of turnovers, we get a lot of extra plays, and there you go. There's 90 plays when maybe offensively you really didn't do much to create that. The defense did. And so I think it can go either way. You just got to make the most of them.
Zach, when we talked to the players, especially A.J. Green just now, he said most complete offense in a long time. It seems like they just get a sense of fun about your offense. How important is that for the players to have that sense of fun playing in this offense?
Well, I think, they're having fun because they're confident. And that's really what we're striving for. When you got guys that know what to do and can react to whatever defense somebody throws at us, because we've repped these plays so many times and we feel like the coaches have done a good job explaining the intent, then it leads to fun because you're not thinking, you're just doing it. And so, we felt like our guys showed us that in the first game. We got to do more. We're going to have a lot more fun when we win, I can promise you that. But we got to do more, but it's a step in the right direction for our guys, that they're confident, and that leads to them having a good time out there on the field.
How big of a lift was it to have AJ there? And
Yeah.
did you, I know you came in and said you wanted to travel. Did you have any second thoughts about that, or did you?
I had no second thoughts about it. You want to make sure with the doctors that everything's good on that, but he's a guy that wants to be engaged. He wants to play. He wants to be engaged. He wants to be around the team. The team likes him. So he warms my heart when he's around, because I remember that we have A.J. Green, hiding out in the background. And so it's good to get guys like that. He's a captain. You just need a veteran presence and veteran leaders like that around, even if they're not playing.
Wait, the fact he came to you was probably, I guess, that was quite impressive.
It's good. Some guys would. Yeah, that's the way it goes with injured guys. Get a chance to just kind of lay low for the weekend, but he doesn't want to do it. He wants to be mentally prepared for when the time comes that he is ready to play, that he's engaged and he hasn't missed anything.
How was he on the sidelines?
I'll be honest, I didn't really notice. I was a little bit in my own world at times, but I'm sure he was really engaged and great.
With them out and Damian getting 90% of the snaps, other than the handful of targets he got, how did you feel Damian played, running guys off or blocking and that kind of stuff?
You didn't notice him in a bad way. He made the plays that came to him, really. He can continue to improve. It's his first game of many games. And so if that's the best he's ever going to play, then we got a problem. And we know that he's going to continue to improve every week. But with that being said, he didn't stand out one way or another. He did his job. Probably played too many snaps. That's a guy where we can build in a couple more breaks. He had the most reps of all the receivers, which is good for him. He never complained, never tried to get himself out, and he's in great condition. He's very durable, and that's good to have a young receiver like that.
I don't think we asked about the challenge that y'all had, I guess, in the first quarter of the game against Seattle. What happened? What did y'all see in the replay system that allowed y'all to, or what was the reason behind things?
It looked like we caught the ball. I obviously they didn't have enough evidence to overturn it. That was the key. And there were two examples in that game where I didn't respond well to the play clock running down and miscommunication from me to Andy. One forced to delay a game down on 3rd and 2 down in the red zone. That's unacceptable on my part. And then that one should have been able to give another play quickly that we could get the ball snapped. And so really we were at the point where we were going to have to take a timeout. And, well, let's just go. We think we caught it anyway. Normally in a 9-yard completion in the first quarter, that's not where you want to spend that. But it got down to the 2 seconds on the clock, and we got put in that spot. So, again, that's a mistake on my part, to be quite frank with you, and that's an area I got to improve on.
Is that just part of just kind of figuring out how the game management goes as a head coach?
It shouldn't have been an issue. I should have been better there. But you lesson learned. We're going to play in a lot of loud stadiums. That's going to happen again, where we have a hard time communicating what we want. We've already put measures in place to make sure that doesn't happen again, and we can make the necessary improvements, and we'll be better the next time we're in that environment.
Did you seek any clarification with the league on the final play of the game, Andy Dalton, what looked like an incompletion that was ruled a fumble?
Well, they review everything, and to be quite honest with you, they do communicate with us after the game, and I think that they prefer that we just keep that in-house. But it's sometimes, I know that during the course of the game, whatever the call is on the field becomes difficult to reverse if you don't have the proper camera angles. And a 1 o'clock game, whatever the term is, regional broadcast, you're not going to have as many cameras as opposed to a Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night. And so there's going to be some plays that it's hard to overturn. Unfortunately for us, because we felt like if we could, get another opportunity or two, we can try to put ourselves in a position to win the game. So that was a tough way to end it, but that's just the way it went.
Is there any update on Corey Glenn right now?
No update, still day to day.
Weekend home game this weekend. You've been acclimated to this area for a little while now. I saw you at Riverbend and got a shout out from Rascal Flatts on stage and everything. What kind of sense do you get from the people that you're meeting out and about this season, and what can we do to bring them to the games overall? Is what your feeling would be for them?
Yeah, it's hard because my interactions right now are at Starbucks in the morning. That's about the extent of it. But like I said a couple weeks ago, we have to bring the energy and we have to get the fans fired up. It's not the other way around. We got to put the seats in the stands. We got to put the people in the stands. And I feel like, unfortunately, we didn't win that game, but I like to think that the people that watched on TV and the people that came to the game to support us saw the type of team that they want to represent and be excited about. And so that's a step in the right direction. Let's get people at the game. Let's create that environment to where it's hostile at home for us, and we can continue to win games at home and make this a really difficult place to play. I was here in 2012 with the Dolphins. It was a hard place to play. I think it was a 17-13 game, came down the wire, very hard to hear. And that was my first impression of the city of Cincinnati. Like, wow, this is a really cool place. And it goes way back then, and so we got to get back to that spot.
And better traffic.
What's that?
Better traffic than California, probably.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's not even a question. It's night and day.